Welcome to this edition of the Mayor's Report for the beautiful city of Dublin. I'm your host, Sblend Sblendorio. Joining me today is Vice Mayor Sherry Hu, of course, from the wonderful city of Dublin. Welcome, Sherry.
Thank you, host.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, hey, at the top of the show, we talk about a topic that you, as the Vice Mayor, want to introduce. So tell us, are there any updates or topics you'd like to start with?
Of course, yeah. So we will have our city's annual military banner program, and that's once a year we host and to honor the local veterans or any active duty members who has connection with our city of Dublin. And this is normally from the May Memorial Day to the Veterans Day, and we post those banners on the street of the Boulevard Road between the Scarlet Drive to the Amador Valley Boulevard. And this is strategically placed near the parks reserved for Forces Training Center. So this is formerly called Camp Parks. So this new name is a good and reserved Forces Training Area. And so the program started in 2018, and we have already flown 65 banners to honor our local members for their services or their relatives' services. And that's a great way. And last, in the past council meetings, we bring those receivers to our council meetings, and we get a chance to honor their services. And that's such a wonderful thing. So if any members or any citizens, you have connections with active duty military members or the members who have served and you want to bring to the city, you can find the information from our Dublin website. So it's always easy to Google from our website, Google the military banners.
All right, I'm sure we'll post a link so our viewers can see more about, learn more about the program. Thank you very much, Sherry. So I'd like to spend the first half of the show talking about the Eastern Alameda County Human Services Needs Assessment that was recently released. Can you tell our viewers first how the report was compiled?
Sure. So the last Human Services Needs Assessment was completed over 10 years ago. It's in year 2011. And the staff from our Dublin, Livermore, Pleasanton, we began planning an updated assessment in 2020, like 4 years ago, and following the release of the census data. So consultant was hired to lead the effort, and a number of steps were taken to ensure the completed report is representative of the Tri-Valley. So that's a lot of effort there. We received a lot of support from the community members, nonprofit organizations, and Alameda County. So there's a steps we talked about. So there's a lot of steps like forming a steering committee and a focus group, holding informal sessions at the community events, and seeking inputs from the community groups through surveys. And we also held interviews with stakeholders.
All right, thank you, Sherry. Tell our viewers, what is the purpose of the report?
Yeah, that's the question for a lot of people. Probably people haven't even heard of this kind of a report. So the report contained very comprehensive and good data. The detailing current and anticipated human services need for the next 5 to 10 years. It contains recommendations to addressing those needs.
All right, so Sherry, on those recommendations, I think that there's some challenges that some of our residences are facing. Can you tell us what are those challenges?
Yeah, as people can think about those reasons, like there's a mental health issues, there's a substance abuse, and lack of healthcare, safety, housing. We have providers, but there are capacity and funding constraints. And services awareness and navigation are also challenges for many people who need the assistance.
Well, you mentioned a few of them. Let's go through them. Let's first talk about housing. What are the housing challenges that some of our residents are facing?
Yeah, so aside from the low housing inventory and affordability issues, there is also a need for more supportive and transition housing for homeless.
Right. Well, that's very, very important. Now let's turn a little bit and talk about healthcare, the challenges that some of our residents have with healthcare or mental health services, or maybe even concerns with public safety. Well, tell us a little bit about, how about youth services? Can you tell us a little bit about any of those, and what are the challenges that we're trying, or the recommendations try to address?
Hey, Glenn, what you talk about are all our concerns. So as a city, with the support from the Dublin Police Services, there is a strong commitment to maintain the quality of life to our residents, and so also to the people who work here. So we want to just take those challenges.
Right. Well, yeah, and you have a lot of staff at your own city that is looking into how to address them, correct?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Well, you know, we live in a wonderful area, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a perception, perhaps outside of this area, that that Tri-Valley just doesning have these challenges.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, we are very fortunate in this beautiful area, and people are doing pretty well. But actually, from outside looking in, and even for some of us living in this city, we feel very happy, very fortunate. But there is unmet needs. So one of the outcomes on the report, and we talk about this report we spend so much effort on, is to continue the work closely and build relationships with the county and other providers to make sure the resources are available in our Tri-Valley area to make sure we can meet these human needs.
Now, Sherry, if I can circle back a little bit on some of the things you mentioned, you as vice mayor, can you maybe share with our viewers a few of your own experiences or circumstances in which you have been able to assist in addressing some of these unmet needs?
Okay, that's great. Thank you. So when people drive around our city, we do see some homeless people sometimes, not always. So every time when we see people wandering around, even near our city hall, and we want to call the police, or there is a website we can actually update the information there. So we want to make the police department, make our city to be aware and to see if they can provide some assistance to those people and to help them get out of the situation. So I do see people in our park and also near the city hall. I made calls to our city manager trying to help with the situations. So second thing I want to say is, even for people like young people, I just talked to a wonderful, beautiful, in 20s, 30s. And when they are looking for housing, like rental homes, they still have a difficult time. Nowadays in Tri-Valley, there's not many available space for renting as well. So we also want to make sure they get the space, they get the resources, so when they are looking, they can find something they can afford.
Well, let me stop you there and ask you a little bit more deeply about, we obviously want to help young people. We wanted to start a family. So are there any services available for those, like I said, help them find a rental or find a house, things like that? Yeah,
so I think there's a market online, right? And also our city provide assistance to lower income young people or any people who need assistance, and they actually can pay a little bit less than the market price to get the homes. We have been doing this for the past several years for this program. And another thing for younger people, they can look for, actually that's another thing to think about too, is to, I know more young people, they look for stay near their parents, but doesn't mean they want to live in the parents' home. I do see people actually build an ADU in their parents' backyard, and we have a wonderful ADU company, WhereNet, in our city, and they can provide those kind of housing, building support to the younger people to start family. I met a young person last month, and he shared a great news. He grew up in Dublin, and he wanted to come back, and it's so expensive, so he was able to manage to build an ADU in his parents' backyard.
Well, tell us more about that experience. Tell us more.
Yeah, the young person, and he was so proud of himself. He still need to pay, you know, like ADU, although it's more affordable than a house, right? But he still need to manage the finance, how to get a loan, how to get things working there. And he even lend hands there, so he doesn't have to pay the full price for building an ADU. He can put something assembled together. And I think it's a big size. It's probably have at least 2 bedrooms and a living room and a bathroom. So with all of those things, and he has his own entryway, so he doesn't need to see his parents, although it's good to greet his parents every day, but he doesn't. He has an independent life. I think that's a great way to start life as well.
That's a great way to start a life.
Yeah.
Maybe you could mention a few of the projects that the city I know has built. I know there's one for veterans. Maybe our viewers would like to hear some of the things, the wonderful projects that Dublin has worked on to provide some housing for some of our veterans or folks just starting out.
Yeah, so our city do keep these veterans in our mind. As we just talked about, we have this banners program. It's such an honor, such a great way to honor those people who did the services for our country. And also as we probably know, like a lot of veterans, unfortunately, become homeless because there's a lot of mental suffering during the process of service, and also there's not many, I guess, not enough services or system to support them. So our city keep this in mind. So when we build affordable homes, and we do have programs, we will provide priorities to people like this. We have these ways to help them get situated. And also we work with nonprofit organizations. So they will not only just housing them, they will also provide services. For example, if they need to get a training for a new career and they need help. And I know there is a young, let's say there is a military, I think. It's a person veteran, and he actually learned how to fix bikes. You know, nowadays people still ride bikes, still love to do exercise on this. So he used these skills to make some income to help him to have a better life.
Well, Sharon, you seem so proud of all the things that your city has accomplished, and but I do need to tell you that we need to take a short break, but we'll be right back on this edition of the Mayor's Report for Dublin. Welcome back to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Dublin. We are here talking with Vice Mayor Sherry Yu from the beautiful city of Dublin. Welcome back, Sherry.
Thank you, Sblend.
Well, there is something very exciting going to be happening in your city, a new park, and you always want to celebrate a new park. However, it does not have a name. So, tell us about this new park, where it is, and tell us how the city is going to select a new name.
That's awesome. So we have this new park located in the Jordan Ranch neighborhood. It's a 2-acre park, and they will build along the Central Parkway and near the Cottonwood Creek School. And our city makes the theme for this park as the forest. And I love this theme. So you will imagine there will be a lot of trees over there. And this will also including the multi-use court for the basketball and futsal. That's another sport I just checked on the website. It's like it's a football, but you can play on the hard ground.
Right. And
also there's the fitness stations, there's the slides, there's picnic tables. So there's all great things over there, playgrounds as well. And currently the city is seeking your help to naming the park. And we already put some names there. You can make your choices. And also you can always propose new names. I'll put some names here for you to think. Pandora Square, and Wicklow Park, Central Forest Park, and the Pandora Woods Park. So it will be a square, and the Pandora, I just checked with our city manager. I said, how this Pandora name comes from.
Yeah.
So it's like a street near the park. It's called Pandora Street.
Oh, is that why?
That's right. But in general, we like this name, right? Pandora is a very beautiful name. And Wicklow Park, I like this Wicklow too. And if you know, our city has a sister city in Ireland, Bray, and then it's in the Wicklow County. So this will pick up some history and also our connections with our sister city.
Oh, that's very smart.
Yeah, that's beautiful
very
too.
Smart, yeah.
So you can name it, and we would love to see that. And also we have a deadline for this naming exercise. It's like the end of the month. And also everything is on the website, and our the host will help to make sure this website get on the TV, so you can check out.
Okay, so Sherry, and let me ask you that. Oh, so the people have until the end of the month to submit their names, or pick prefer one of these. Then who decides? Is it the city council? Is it the Park and Recs department? How does that work?
So that's what I think. I don't know exactly the process, but there will be survey questions, and there's parks. There's people who has committee over there, and they will pick the one, I guess.
Oh, pick one. Okay, great. Okay. Oh, that's wonderful. And is the park already completed, or is it soon to be completed?
It hasn't started.
It hasn't started
yet. It's already finished the design, and probably in the process of picking a contractor.
Okay. Well, let's talk about something else. I know that is very common in a lot of cities that they produce a monthly or quarterly newsletter, and in Dublin it's called a backyard brief. Tell us a little history. When did it start?
Okay, so we started April 2021. That's actually just when I started become a city council member. So I was a part of this history as well. And the name Backyard is from our nickname, American Backyard. And brief is just to make sure we get a simple brief information to you. And our city manager, Linda Smith, actually put a lot of effort and her staff into this monthly newsletter. And it's online monthly, and you can take a look. So I actually always look at that every month. This month, if you didn't get a chance to look at the news, you should go there, because there will be like a police report as well, because a lot of people I know nowadays they have concerns about safety, and there's a report. You can read the data. You can probably get some insights there, and also you are always welcome to provide your feedback or provide the information you want to put there as well. So there's also a website you can go in to do this at least 2 weeks before the time, and we can work on this for you. So one of the things I still want to mention is our city do produce 2 big detailed reports every year. One is in February, I think it's February. It's a city's report. Another one is annual report in August. So there's a budget, there's parks, there's a lot of good information you want to know.
And is that mailed to all the residents, or is it available by email, or do they have to look on the website, or all three? Can they?
So the backyard brief, it's on the website. Okay. People have to check. And if you send up the email, you will get email as well. So that's one thing I want to tell people too. Like I want to make this clear to everybody. Like you have to sign up to the newsletter, to the city's news, in order to receive the news, because our city, we do not have a right to just directly send email to you.
Right, so if I wanted to sign up, I could probably look on the city website, and there'd be a button for me to put in my name and address and email, and I'll get the backyard brief.
Correct. And another thing people have access nowadays is social media. I know we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we just have a lot of social media. If you're active, you know how to get those information. Yeah, follow them.
I'm not that old, Sherry. I do know how to do that.
That's awesome. Sorry, I'm not meaning you.
Okay, hey, so there's some upcoming events. Well, there are always upcoming events in Dublin, right? It's a very busy place. Can you highlight some of those things for our viewers?
Yeah, of course. And in March 16th and the 17th, and just like a month away, we actually have our 40th St. Patrick's Day celebration.
Big weekend in Dublin.
Yeah, it's like so interesting, so exciting, and so much involvement, and we just couldn't say enough about this event. So we start with a parade in the morning, and I know a lot of high schoolers, a lot of school students, they are doing this parade. They are also doing this marching band. I know my daughter has been in the high school marching band for years. They were always excited to do this. And also different groups, they are always there. And we will be there for sure. And also in the Civic Center area, we will have like 3 stages for the Irish entertainment, the dancers, the music, the food court, and the vendors, and there's a tea, there's a folk music, and just a lot of things. And in the evening at 7:30, we will have our St. Patrick Day themed Zoom show. The Zoom show is so wonderful. Have you seen one?
I've seen several of them.
Oh,
they're just as good as fireworks shows.
Yeah, yeah, and also more environment friendly.
Yes.
Right? We don't need to fire anything up. There's no smokes. I enjoy that so much. Every time I feel like that's like a dream comes true.
Yeah. Yes, no, I've seen them at the Coliseum. A couple of the Coliseum. They're wonderful.
Yeah.
Tell us more about them. So,
Yeah.
so now, are you promising good weather for St. Patrick's Day?
Oh, that's one thing we have to always pray for the God. But we had a good weather last year. Yeah, there's a hope for that, for sure.
All right, now I want to circle back on something that I know is very important to you, and that is there's a teen job and career fair. And when is that? And tell our viewers a little bit about that.
Yeah, so if you have a teens, actually there's a good news for you. There's a teen job and a career fair will take place on March 9th in San Ramon Senior Center. So we do have this Tri-Valley coordinated event for every teens in our area. So these events will open a lot of job opportunities for the teens. And admission is free. And the teens can come in, have a chance to meet the future employers and to see what's out there. And also they can get the experience of interview. I know that could be scary for a lot of people, but if you go there, get a chance just chatting with the employers there. I want to mention one thing here. So my son actually is a teen, so I couldn't wait to get there. And he started his first ever job a few months ago in a boba tea, T4 place. And that's one thing I figured out is once we put them into work, they started to appreciate money because they start to know, oh, how much I'm making every hour, and can I get more tips if I be more friendly? So they start to think all those things. And I just feel he becomes a more responsible teen after he started working. Okay. So I encourage every parent, if you have a teens, and manage them to take some part-time jobs.
And that's really good advice. I know you're a mom, but it's good advice for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't do any teen jobs when I was teen because it's a different environment.
Okay, so here's I'm sure this is parents will be worried about. You got your son to do that. What advice do you have to get your teen to actually go to this and not be afraid of what's
the teen
yeah, what do you say?
Fair. So I would say this way is you will see a lot of other teens at your age. They would be there. They would be exactly the same situation as you. They didn't know more about you. More than you, so just feel comfortable to fit in and to see what's going on. If you don't feel comfortable enough, you don't have to take any jobs at that time. You just talk with people to know who's looking and think about this.
Well, thank you, Vice Mayor Yu, for joining us today and being here and updating us on all the events going on in Dublin. I'm Sblend Sblendorio. Join us for the next episode of the Mayor's Report for Dublin right here on Tri-Valley TV. Thank you so much for watching.